Hey guys, I'm Russ Brinsing. I'm the men's ministry director here at Memorial Road, and we're kicking off our first podcast with Get to Know You. We're getting to know men around the church. So this Sunday, we're meeting with Clay Hart here, and we're going to get to know Clay.
Hi guys. Hey Russ, thanks for having me on the podcast, and I'm happy to be here and let you guys know a little bit more about me. So what do you want to know? What do you ask?
Well, Clay, let's start off where you started your role as a minister.
Okay. Just as a minister.
Yeah, just in ministry in general.
Okay. In ministry in general, I guess I was a teenager and I did some internship as a kid in Mansfield, Ohio, where I grew up. And that carried me through into college. I was an intern at a little church near Detroit. And my wife-to-be and my future father-in-law were also involved in that little church. And from there, we went on a summer mission trip to South Africa. And we got married at the end of 1980 and moved to Abilene, Texas. And we did ministry during college there. And then we did ministry for a year in Fort Worth, Texas, before our church sent us back to Africa, where we spent 18 years in ministry and missions.
Wow, that's a lot of places all over the world doing ministry.
Yeah, we both have always lived by, where does God need us? Where are we? And what can we do when we're here, wherever we ended up?
So what would you say was the most challenging aspect of that, working in so many different places in the world?
For me, one of the most challenging things was our work in South Africa, because we went to South Africa as newlyweds. Well, we'd been married a few years, but we were new to that part of the country, and we had a brand new baby, and we were new on the scene, and we were trying to do something different. And that was to reach out and give biblical training to race groups besides the white South Africans and the Zulu-speaking Black tribe of South Africa. Both of those groups had biblical training opportunities, but the non-white groups in and around the city of Durban, a coastal surfing town with a lot of beaches and good things to do, but they had no training. And they had a lot of little congregations meeting in school classrooms with a small handful of people and no preacher training, no Bible training. And we were going there to try and boost them up and give them opportunities. That was challenging because shortly after we arrived there, the president got onto the news and declared a state of emergency. So we were living in apartheid South Africa in a police state, and it felt dangerous.
What was that like with your family there with you?
Raising our firstborn, we had challenges, but we went on and we just did what we were supposed to do, and we just trusted God for safety and security, and we just adjusted our lifestyle accordingly. We had alarm systems put into our cars and into our house, and at one point, unrest was so bad that if you went to the mall or the grocery store, you went through airport security type machines to go shopping. Things like that. And it just became our new normal. We got used to it. And our kids lived, we thought, a fairly normal life. There were a lot of blessings of having our kids. 2 of them were born there. But having them grow up there it was a challenge, but it was a blessing in many ways. And before you know it, things settled down well. We went in 1985. By 1994, everything changed. And we had Nelson Mandela as a president, and lots of new opportunities. And we had lots of relationships with people of all races, because from the get-go, that's who we went to target. And I say target, that's who we went to love and get to know and bless. And nobody was ever our target unless they were in our crosshairs for whom we should love the most.
Right. That's a great way to look at life, for sure. A lot easier way to live anyway.
Yeah.
So, Clay, tell us a little bit about what you do here at Memorial Road.
I kind of inherited a long, decades long ministry to internationals in the community of OKC Metro. And it goes back to somebody noticing an international student in a library and wanting to know if they needed help and offering to study the Bible. And there was a long history of that. And there were ministers who worked in that ministry over a period of time. And there was a time when we were looking to come to Oklahoma City and settle, and an opportunity came to try and get this job as international minister. And so what we do is we minister to anybody from any country. They might be a refugee, they might be a student, they might be an immigrant, they might be here short term for OU health science research, or they might be here looking to settle and make this their home country. And we help people with their English, we help people resettle, we help people who are foreigners and who have special needs that your average person in our culture might not even be aware of, that just comes second nature to them, and they know how things operate. We help them with cultural adjustment and just love them with the love of the Lord and demonstrate to them the gospel, and hopefully are able with opportunities afterwards to share the good news and spread the kingdom that way.
That's an awesome ministry. I'm sure it's very rewarding to see, some of the fruits come from that ministry.
Yeah, there's so many stories I could tell, and every one of them just wells up my heart with joy to just think about it and retell it.
It's awesome. So for you guys out there that aren't familiar with First Light, once a week on Wednesday mornings, we send out a devotional. It's written by men here at the church. A couple weeks ago, Clay wrote one of our devotionals, a very heartfelt devotional directly from his journal. And got a lot of feedback on it. Feedback from myself, has brought tears to my eyes. Clay, why don't you tell us a little bit about that devotional and what it meant to you?
Yeah, well, I'm dealing with grief. I've had a recent loss, and it's pretty raw. I lost my wife on May 7th of 24. And so I made a commitment to myself. I'm not going to shave or cut my hair for a year. And if somebody asks me why, if they're bold enough to say, why are you letting yourself go like that? I'm going to tell them I'm in mourning. And I've been mourning, and I'm still mourning. But the mourning is a process, And I'm working through a book. In fact, I finished it yesterday. It's called When Your Soulmate Dies, A Guide to Healing Through Heroic Mourning. And my wife, Cherry, was a wonderful counselor. I mean, she was like Jesus in every way. And like Jesus, she was a wonderful counselor. And she changed so many lives. We're allowed the Lord to use her to do that in people's lives. And she was my best counselor. She was my best friend. And she was my soulmate. She really was. And I'm going through this process of developing a relationship, not having her right by my side, but my relationship is with our history together, with my memories of her and with things that she taught me. And I love that. As much as I cherish and love our relationship when she was with me, I cherish and love my new relationship with her memory. And it continues because I know I will see her again. So I've learned to journal more and write things down. And I've learned to keep a pen and a journal, by my bedside. And so if the Lord speaks to me in the night, and I'm not hearing voices, I'm not going crazy, but if I get something from, I believe is from God, I'll write it down. And the thunder woke me up, the claps of thunder woke me up, and then I heard hail, and then I thought to myself, boy, Cherry loved a good storm. And almost every time something pops into my head, I think about Cherry, and I can't stop. I can't help myself. And so these words just flowed, and I remembered she loved me most, and she knew me best, and she saw me at my worst. And like that word just came to me, and like, what a blessing, what a cherished beloved she was to me, that she had so much grace and compassion. And so often she would see something I need to change, and she like, in my man's eye, oh, why are you so critical? Leave me alone. And I'm like, but that's not ever what I really wanted. You know, it's just so defensive and offensive at the same time. Don't leave me alone. You have left me alone now. And now how do I feel? I feel alone. And then my mind went to Jesus, going after the 99 who are all alone and vulnerable. And I thought, what a lesson, you know. Don't leave me alone. I don't want to be alone. I need to be with God's people. I need a helpmeet. I need the blessing that God has given me my whole life. And that just kind of inspired this Devo, and the words just flowed. So I wrote it down and I thought, hey, maybe this is good enough to share. And I shared it with a couple of people and they said, yeah, that is good enough to share.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Clay, first of all, I'm sorry for your loss. I know it's tough. I know it's tough to live that out every day. But I do want to commend you for journaling, for doing these things, and then being willing to open yourself up to other men, other people around the church, and using that to honor God. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to reading that book. I didn't even know you had a book, and you finished it last night. That's amazing.
Yeah, this is called When Your Soulmate Dies, A Guide to Healing Through Heroic Mourning. I didn't write the book. I've worked through it and journaled through it and practiced it. I actually made a pact with one of our men in the congregation, Clint McKnight, one of our counselors. He witnessed me writing an agreement with myself what I'm going to do, and I finished the book now. And I'm feeling better. I'm not 100% there. I'm not all the way through. I actually get to listen to my wife counsel me on grief because she was a grief counselor and she made videos, and I can still hear her by just turning on the video and listening to her and putting her wisdom into my life. And so that's a very unique situation to be in.
It is. It is. Well, Clay, before we close out, is there anything else that you want to share about yourself and with the church?
I just love working with international people and with Memorial Road. We have a fantastic eldership. We have fantastic staff, a great men's ministry that I'm happy to be a part of. And we have such a heart for the nations, and it's wonderful to be a part of that. I just feel very grateful and blessed, and looking forward as God brings me through this chapter to what he might have in store for me next.